What's the point of having 6 rifles if you can't even feed yourself for 3 days? Look, sometimes I don't say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. What's up, guys? Operation Pour here. Long time no see. If you didn't know, you weren't tracking, this is my first video in probably 6, 7, 8 months. And believe it or not, even though there's a vine right here and you can't see beyond like 20 yards in any direction, this isn't the jungle of Vietnam. This is Appalachia, believe it or not. So at least in my area of Appalachia, in the summertime when it's green outside and stuff, like I said, you can't see but 20 yards in any direction, okay? And through rocking the Go to War build, I replaced the carry handle with the red dot because after some shooting, this was a long time ago. I mean, like I said, it's been 6, 7, 8 months since I uploaded, but I realized that in low light conditions, the carry handle was not cutting it. And doing training in low light, especially like in that weird time between like the dusk time, you know, between daylight and nighttime when a light really wouldn't make that much sense, trying to look through a carry handle and acquire a target was almost near impossible versus having a red dot. So yeah, we back. Hopefully we'll start uploading again. Had some shifting in my civilian life, you know, aside from YouTube, job-wise and stuff. So hopefully we can get back into it now. But anyways, what this video is about is there's a trap that a lot of people, including myself, have fallen into over the years. And I think it's not solely because of the bigger gun tubers, but it seems to be this shtick and this stigma that you need a setup, you need a rifle for everything, you know. And I don't, like I said, I don't think it's big gun tubers doing this, but especially if they're a little bit better off, they'll buy gear. They'll buy a new carrier, new plate carrier, or they'll do the, you know, the fighting load carrier, or, you know, plates, no plates, micro rigs, and then they got like 20 different setups, you know, like loadouts, so to speak. And then the same thing with rifles. They show off a different rifle every week, seems like. I remember I first got my skin in the game when LPOs were a thing. As soon as that hype came in, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I had to buy an LPVO right then, right there. And then I realized, you know, a red dot can, at least in my area, is probably just as good. A whole different video on that topic, but I'd build out these rifles, and I mean, guys, like, look, I live in poverty. I ain't even gonna lie. I know that's crazy. Like, I have to order my stuff through like Sezzle, do payments. I can only spare like 50 bucks a check. So like, I order a lower from PSA. That's all I can afford. And then I order an upper, and then it takes me 2 months to buy a $250 upper and a $150 lower. But you know, that's how it is for a lot of people out there. I'm not complaining, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not like bitching to the camera. Okay, that's just how it is in my area. Appalachia is a very poor and sad place, but we also have a lot of pride in this land. You know, our family has grew up here for generations, and we have a lot of pride, and that'll probably be our downfall. But I mean, can't beat them, join them. Am I right? So anyway, guys, like I said, you know, the big gun tubers and stuff, they'll be showing off a new rifle every week, a new setup. And I've fallen into this trap myself. Even being on that tight of a budget, I've fallen into the trap of, oh, I need to build a 308 16-inch battle rifle. I need to. I have to have it. What if this happens? Built an AR pistol out, you know, 10.5-inch barrel AR pistol. I was like, I have to have it. Even though the only house that I would ever be clearing is my own. You know what I mean? Or defending is my own. I have no intentions of going anywhere if anything went down, except if last case scenario, I'm hiking back in these hills, you know. I have a lot of stuff, a lot of gear that even as a more, you know, budget-minded person, I didn't need to purchase in the first place, because it really doesn't hold significant value. I'm not going to say any value, but significant value to me and what I would need it for to protect myself and defend my family, right? So don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm a gun guy. I'm actually going to gunsmithing school right now. I love guns. I love those old bolt action rifles with the wood stocks and the blue, the blue barrels. I actually blew my first revolver yesterday. I'm putting wood grips on it. I have an old coach gun, styled after the old cowboy days, but tactically and more for a red dawn scenario is what I always like to use. Those hold absolutely no value to me, and I hate saying that because it's going to piss a lot of people off, but those guns don't hold any value to me. I have an AR, I have extra parts, and I have another AR. I have multiple ARs, and most of them is the traps I have fallen into. I built one, recently got rid of it. I don't like to keep too many guns in my safe, They might pick up and walk off, you know what I'm saying? But, I went to gun shop and sold a bunch of them off because it was just getting ridiculous. I had a 6 to 18 power scope on a 20-inch AR build. And yeah, it was cool. But really, realistically, you guys have to look at your area. And we're all coming together. Just bear with me, guys. I got that ADD. It's hard to focus. You really have to look at your area and just, use your brain and think for yourself and do research in your area of what you may face and then what you're going to do if something went down, especially now tensions are high. Last weekend, the whole Trump situation, that's crazy out there. Things getting crazy. They've been crazy for a while, and I'm not going to give in to fear mongering or whatever. I'm a big proprietor, and you should be ready to always be ready. You should set it up now. Even if you're poverty stricken, you should have something set back, some rifles, some ammunition. TAPS panels, what I've been running, that I was actually issued in the Army. I just couldn't find it, so I didn't turn it into CIF. But my Army issued TAPS panel is what I've been using to go out and train with. This is all coming back together, as in I have no purpose for a 6 to 18 power scope unless it is the dead of winter, which is one season a year. And I guess if you wanted, or if you had money to do seasonal rifles, then go ahead and do it. I'm not going to tell you you can't spend your money, but to have a high magnification in a spot like this where 90% of it looks like the jungle, and I can't see more than 20, 30 yards that way. It's just brush and vegetation. The only time that you can see above that is if you come to a field, and the max field around in my area, considering it's just hill after hill, is 300 meters, 300 yards. That is the longest shot I would ever have to take in my area to defend myself, besides maybe like a roadway or something. But the longest shot I would ever, in any scenario, max distance is 300 meters, or roughly 360-ish yards, give or take. There's a little bit of discrepancy in there, but I'm not going to sit here and do the math on top of my, off the top of my head. So, considering that, would it make sense for me to spend, I think the scope was like $200 on that 6 to 18 power scope? Would it make sense to build a whole new rifle because I fell into the trap of I need something? I need a longer range build, a precision build. I need a Reese build, right? A Reese, Recce, whatever, Reese, Recce. I need that build, I'm fiending for that build. And it's I got a little bit of tism when it comes to guns. I love guns. I've been shooting since I was 7, okay? It's not all just tactical, stuff, preparedness, whatever. Like I said, I have a respect for all firearms, and they've always been a part of my life. So having those rifles, to me, isn't necessarily worthless, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, a 6 to 18 power scope, unless I had a piggyback red dot or something, or an offset red dot, is just going to slow me down for defending myself. Let's say that a bunch of Russian paratroopers came up over this hill. There's a field way over here, about half a mile this way. I just seen them drop in over there. I would much rather have this, a 16-inch A2 style, you know, A2 stock style, having fixed front sight. I would much rather have this than that 6 to 18 power build that I just did, because even though I can make positive ID and I can get more details with that scope, in the reality of things, that heavy ass scope and the 20-inch rifle is just going to slow me down in this thicket. Sorry, I don't like to cuss on this channel, but you know, like, look, I'm hitting this vine. Oh, gotta lean in. There's a tree right here, a little tree. You know what I'm saying? I could probably give you better examples, but hopefully you get the shtick. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. The first consideration of watching any video, if you're looking to build a rifle to defend yourself, is where you live, the terrain, the population, as in, not demographic as in races, but do you live in a more poverty-stricken area? Do you live in a rich gated neighborhood? You know, you have to feel that out, because let's be honest, you know, people that don't have a lot of money don't have a lot, and then when they get desperate, they have to take from somebody that has more. It's just how it is. Everybody wants to live. A nuke goes off tomorrow and the whole structure, you know, the whole structure is done for the people that have more money, people that have more goods and food are basically going to be raided by the poor people that didn't prepare, because that's just how it is. So either way, whatever side you fall on, you need to be prepared. You know, you need to look, if you live in an apartment building in New York City, you know, following your gun laws and stuff, your setup is going to look completely different. Or in California, your setup, if you're like a prepper or whatever, is going to look completely different than something that I could have. Like, this would probably be illegal in those states. I mean, honestly, 30 round mag and semi-auto capability, I'm pretty sure that's like 80 billion felonies in New York. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to take in consideration what you can have. And I did not tell you to break any laws, but you got to look at what your setup needs to be. A 20-inch AR and you live in an apartment building in a bigger city probably wouldn't make much sense. AR pistol with a brace or SBR would probably make more sense in that situation, because you're not going to really be shooting over max 100 yards, 150 yards in those situations, just to get out of the city. Now, here where I'm at, like I said, I could be shooting out to about 300 meters, and that's the farthest shot, but there is open fields here. However, most of it is this thick bush, so a 16-inch makes sense. A 16-inch, you know, it's got a little bit of velocity, but it's nothing insanely crazy. However, you know, I could probably go to a 12.5, 11, 10.5 inch, you know, if I wanted to SBR it or just run a brace or whatever. Because currently, as of today, they are legal. So, yeah. And that's the same thing with gear, guys. Like, if you're going to be out in the woods or you plan on going out, I'm not saying it's a good or bad idea, but depending on where you are, having plates in your carrier, considering that if you get hit, you're probably dead anyways, because you don't have access to a hospital or something of that nature. Even if you get hit in the plate, it might save your life, but if there's any kind of shrapnel or debris get stuck in here, you know, if you don't know how to medically deal with that, you're going to die anyways. If you get shot in the leg, you may tourniquet, you know, you do immediate first aid, but then again, you're probably going to die of infection, because there ain't going to be no medicine, you know what I mean? So we pretty much going to Rambo it. Everybody here watching this, let's be honest, we're pretty much, when it comes, if it comes, everybody's just going to have to be like the Viet Cong and the natives, you know, of Vietnam during that time, and just going to have to Rambo it. We're going to have to hide in mud holes and just hope for the best, you know, especially with drones and thermals and stuff, but that's a later date. I'm not trying to depress you guys, but you know, we need to, sometimes it's good to get tunnel vision, but you need to pinpoint what you want to build. You need to take in all those considerations. And then, like I said, you know, I get persuaded a lot, guys. I'll watch a YouTube video like one of Grand Thumb's videos, or Blue Jean Operator's videos, or Trench Grenade's videos, or Homefront Scenarios. Dude, I love that dude. Been supporting him since almost day one. I watch one of his videos of the setup, and I'll be like, I have to have that. What he's saying makes sense. And instead of buying more ammunition, I'll just go ahead and start piecing together another rifle. And like I said, if you got money to do that, have at it. But most of us don't have the money to do that. And this is this video. This is me telling you. This is me telling myself. I'm gonna go back and watch this later when I get that itch. You need to buy more ammo to stock up and to train with. If you don't have plates in your carrier and you want to rock plates, you need to save up and buy those plates. Stop putting it off. You need to have a med kit. Stop putting it off. Food, water, stop putting it off, guys. What's the point of having 6 rifles if you can't even feed yourself for 3 days? You know, what's the point of having 8, 10 rifles, a shotgun, and 3 pistols if you don't have a couple hundred rounds to sustain you in a gunfight just so you can take whatever they have, you know, the enemy has? Because that's how it's going to be, you know, the whole loot drop thing, that's how it's going to be. You know, like I said, if some paratrooper or whatever comes out of the sky and is trying to attack me, my family, or whatever, my community, after, you know, the dust is settled, so to speak, and this is all hypothetical in Minecraft, by the way, after the dust is settled, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna start grabbing. They got AKs, my AK, you know, my mags, my ammo, my tourniquet. I'm taking everything they got and I'm gonna put it in my house, because as soon as that happens, as soon as we're invaded, like all laws, local laws, whatever, goes out the window. At least I believe it would. You know, I could be wrong. War criminal, you know, gang, whatever. But when it comes to that, a man, look at me, a man needs to do what he's got to do to protect his family. And that's what it would be. So I'm not telling you break any laws or whatever. I don't know how the legal situation would be. I'm not a lawyer. But if there was fucking, cutting that up, if there was tanks on my front lawn, then all the bullshit, you know, all the laws go out the window, guys. You know, a tank pointed at my house, like, I know. But yeah, I just wanted to put this out there. I'm gonna edit this down. I'm looking at right at 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to get this like a 10-minute video, just so you guys get the point. I know I ramble, but when you look at your kit and you look at the rifle that you're building, your fighting rifle, your go-to, you need to really sit down and consider. It may take a week, it may take 2 weeks. You need to sit down and consider what's in your area. If you live in an area like I do, where half the year's like this and the other half you still won't be shooting above 300 meters, you probably don't need a 6 to 18 power scope like what I was building. You probably don't need a 24 power scope. The max magnification you need is probably 9. You know, most hunters around here for deer season, they rock a 3 to 9, and that's been the standard, and nobody else does anything else around here. Now that's probably FUD lore, but that's just how it is. This would make a lot more sense than pretty much any other build I could do, unless I just shorten it a little bit. But yeah. So I'll see you guys next time on the mountain. I'm gonna start trying to pump out more videos. You know, I know there's a lot of tension. There's something about gun policy. I don't whatever. Channel gets taken down, it gets taken out. I'm here to spread a message. And sometimes I don't say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, I want to build more rifles. I want to build more rifles, dude. Guns is my hobby. I love guns. But it's like, sometimes you just need to hear something that you don't want to hear. But I'll see you guys next time on the mountain. Peace out. Have a good one.